Hi guys, welcome to the channel Practical Reefer. My name's Mark. Now, today I'm going to be going over my experience with adding mollies to a saltwater tank and how to acclimate them, and benefits of keeping mollies in a saltwater tank as well. Now, big shout out to Everyday Aquarist. He's on YouTube, definitely check out his channel. He does a lot of macroalgae, which he also sells. He's got a lot of macroalgae tanks and he's building a sort of fish room and stuff, and he keeps a lot of mollies as well, so I've cut quite a bit, or a fair bit of my information is cut from him, but I've done a lot of looking on the forums as well. And then also the other channel that I've seen doing this is Reef Builders, so Jake Adams. I mean, he knows all sorts. He's an absolutely fantastic channel. The amount of knowledge he has is unbelievable. But they're two people that I've seen doing it on YouTube as well, and there's a bit on forums, and there's a couple of other people on YouTube doing it. I think Craft Aquatic was one that I've seen that did a longer process, which I'll touch on later. So the benefits of keeping mollies in the saltwater aquarium, they pick at the rockwork and they eat algae. So they'll do this in freshwater as well, but obviously in a marine tank where you've got all that rockwork, it's a fantastic tool to have. They're kind of like a mini tang in terms of being a herbivore and picking away at green algae and things. So you'll see just in the other corner there, that's the female that I've just added in the last couple of days. So she went through a longer process, which I'll discuss later as well. So the benefits of having them in, obviously they pick at the rockwork and eat algae. They're also a really good dither fish. Now, this female here couldn't care less that, you know, my finger's just touching the front of the glass. She's just wanting to go where she wants to go, and they don't care. So in a sort of coral reef situation, if other fish are out and swimming in the open, the other fish that are hiding in the rockwork are going to come out and start to swim in the open as well. As soon as something goes wrong or there's a predator, they'll all shoot back into the rockwork. So even though clowns are very forward fish, you'll find that, I mean, my damsel's normally hiding away somewhere. The blenny quite often sitting in the rockwork, he's swimming about in the middle, and my banded possum wrasse is kind of hiding a little bit. I can see it. It was coming towards the front there, but because I'm sitting here and my shoulder's moving about, it is going about. But I see my yellow banded possum wrasse so much more now that I've got the mollies in there. It just feels that bit safer. It comes out, it swims more, I see more of it, so that's brilliant. Normally you just used to be up the sort of the back corridor that I've got the clearance from the rock and the glass. That is where it would be, and it would just be picking away. It was quite happy, but very, very shy fish. My male, who's deciding, I can see him, he's actually behind this kind of breeder box. I've got some mushrooms in at the moment, so you can't actually quite see him, but I'll show you some footage in a bit. The other thing, so, and again, my male, he does, his tail's actually been nipped a little bit because he was trying so hard to be my female clownfish's new mate. He loved her so much, and you found that he was swimming about with the female everywhere, following her, and trying to get really close to her and do other things, which live bearer fish can do. And the male clownfish was off somewhere else. So now I've got the female in there. Hopefully his attention will be attracted back to his own kind, and he'll leave the female clown alone and she won't tell him off. So that's hopefully that. But he's been, I mean, he was fine for 5 weeks, and the last week the female clown, I think, has just had a little bit of enough and given him a couple of nips. So hopefully that'll balance itself out in the next couple of weeks. What I did do is, although I personally in the last few weeks or the last month or two struggled to find really good sailfin mollies, I think maybe to do with COVID and a lack of kind of lorry drivers and things like that, has probably not helped. And the shops that I went to, they either had like balloon mollies or normal mollies, and that's not what I was after. So, but normally they're really, really widely available in a variety of beautiful colours. And they're really cheap as well. You're talking about, you know, £5 or £6 for a molly, maybe less. That was pet to home prices, so you'll probably get them cheaper than that. And for me as well, I was wanting to increase the bioload in this tank, so to get my nitrates and phosphates up, because a couple of my mushrooms aren't very happy, and actually one of mine's not very happy just now because I haven't been feeding as much frozen the last few days. I've been feeding more pellet just for time. And also one of my mushrooms is a bit unhappy again, so that's why I'm adding the mollies in, to increase that bioload and have more nutrients in the tank. I've also been doing a bit more water changes for another reason, which is more just to service another tank. So I've taken a couple of litres out of that and then replacing it with this tank. So I haven't done like normal maintenance to this tank. I've just been changing a couple of litres a day, just so that tank's been getting the water change that it needs for another reason. Which has upset the mushroom because there's too many water changes and the water's too clean. But anyway, so what I'll do, I'll show you some footage of when I first added the male molly and the female that's just been in a few days. So he was added 6 weeks ago, and he was absolutely, within 5 minutes, he was pecking away at the rockwork and doing what I wanted him to do. And the female was the same. Within a few minutes, she was in she was doing it to the glass, which didn't really have any algae on it, but that's the sort of behaviour that I was after. So I'll show you those bits of footage of the two mollies when they were first added. And there's the male, guys, doing exactly what I was wanting him to do. This is just in the reflection. He's just pecking at rocks. I've seen him doing it a few times already. It's just trying to catch him. And there he is, just batting away. And there's my blenny. Let's see if he does it. I'll need to go for the reflection again. Absolutely brilliant. That's what I was hoping for. Certainly the male's bigger and is probably going to be better at that, whereas the female is a much smaller fish. So we'll see how she goes. Oh, there he goes again. Damsel's just letting him know he's there. Being a bit cheeky. Yeah, the molly couldn't care less. Let me try and get a better angle. And there we go. Just pecking away at rocks. Doing what mollies do. Cracking little fish. Really happy with that. Again, they've only been in the tank half an hour or so, so just need to make sure they're okay over the next couple of days, but there he goes. Just pecking away, nobody's bothered. Hanging out with the clowns. Really happy with that. So guys, there's my first female molly in. She's got a little couple of knocks in her tail. She was in a smaller tank with another female. That's the male. If you could move, that would be cool. And that's her doing what mollies do, just pecking away at things. So hoping she'll certainly help with the battle. She is much bigger than my male, to be honest. He's quite slender, but she's a bit of a monster. So that's her in there. I've got the other female still in the other little tank because she's still actually heavily pregnant. So I'll let her drop her babies first, and then we'll add her into this tank as well. So guys, here's my two mollies that I now have in the tank. You'll see there that the male's tail's been a little bit nipped. I think that's because he's been trying his luck a little bit too much with the female clown, and she's got a bit bored of it. But now he's got a female in there, that should hopefully keep him a bit more occupied. I've just popped the food in there, so that'll be a good time to film them all. But the blenny as well, he never used to feed with the other fish, but now that the mollies are in there, he does that as well. The pygmy wrasse, maybe not so much. He's probably catching food up the back, but he does come out a lot more as well. But that's my mollies there. The female's only been in a few days and she's doing great. And hopefully she'll keep the male's attention and he'll leave the clowns alone, and they'll leave him alone, I think. But she's a bit of a beast, to be honest. She's much bigger than I thought she was when I bought her. Oh, she's having a good go at that food. But I'll leave them to feed and we'll come back. So guys, you've seen the footage there when the mollies were first added, and you can still see my female swimming about up front. My male's still playing about at the back for the first time in a long time. But you'll have seen him in the past videos over the last month as well. He's been swimming about a lot. Oh, there he comes. Oh no, he's getting a bit excitable. Don't know if he's the female's trying to assert dominance or something like that. She's a big fish. She's a lot better than I thought she was. When you go to the store and you buy them, like, that's a good sized fish, and then you get home and it's like, that's about twice the size of my male. But it's fine, they'll sort it out. She's only been in there a day or two. There's the male. Oh, you maybe can't quite see him for the breeder box. He's just, there he is, still trying it on with the clownfish. Hopefully he'll soon learn. So when I first added the male, I did a sort of 3+ hour drip acclimation. Now, when I added him, I'd also bought what I believe was just like a normal black molly, and I'd absolutely 100% recommend using sailfin mollies if you're going to try this. Now, the black molly, it was in the tank with the sailfins. It was up on the top rack, and I thought it was just a very young female sailfin because the females don't have the same sort of massive sailfin as the males do. So I kind of missed that a little bit, and I wasn't going to argue with the guy in the shop about it because it just wasn't worth it. And I thought, I'd read on forums that various types of mollies could be acclimated, so I thought it'll be fine. And acclimated them both for 3 hours, dropped him in. He was great. He just got on with it. He just got into the tank and started doing what I wanted him to do, and was just investigating things, and you wouldn't have thought anything happened to him or there was any stress to it. But when I added the female, she was a little bit stressed. She was kind of like sitting quite low in the tank, and then overnight or the next morning she unfortunately died. So I lost her. Now that to me says that sailfin mollies, I mean that was only a 50-50 test, there was only 2 of them. It says to me that sailfin mollies are much better suited for this, especially with a 3-hour drip. However, before I kind of came to the realisation that obviously black molly was maybe half the issue, or a normal molly, I did also start another process to add a couple of females. So I'm trying a much slower acclimation process, which I'll do in my other video, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail. But certainly with my male sailfin molly, I did a 3-hour drip acclimation from freshwater to full saltwater, dropped him in, and he was fantastic. He had no problems. But with the normal black molly, unfortunately, she died within 24 hours. And for me, a 50% success rate of adding fish is far too low. You lose the odd fish. And I know a lot of people in the forums, they talk about they maybe just drop mollies straight in. I've seen a couple of guys saying, look, my best success rate, I've tried drip acclimation and I was losing mollies, and I've tried just dropping them in and I was getting 100% or damn near it 100%. But for me, if I'm going to be acclimating clownfish from one saltwater tank to another, I'm absolutely going to be acclimating mollies from freshwater to saltwater, because I think that's the right way to do it. So guys, I thought that video was just more to share my experiences with having mollies in a saltwater tank and how I acclimated them the first time. I will be doing a part 2 to this video, which is going to show a much longer process on how to acclimate mollies. So we'll come to that later on, but this one was just to show more of the benefits and how I did it certainly the first time, and what my experience was. Unfortunately I lost a fish on that one, so certainly sailfin mollies 3 or 4 hour drip acclimation should work, but I'm using another method which is much longer, but I think will be safer as well. But yeah, give me a little comment below. Do you use saltwater mollies, or do you have saltwater mollies in your fish tanks, or do you use them in like frag tanks as cleanup crew, or to control algae or something like that? Give me a little comment below, give me a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.